All right, this is lesson 9.2. Not most people's favorite lesson. Converting units in the metric system. The reason why is because it's hard enough for you guys to convert things in our own system, much less one that we don't use. You know what I'm saying? So, it doesn't change the fact that you need to know how to do this. Hopefully, yesterday's assignment helped you learn, just basically what a gram is, what a liter is, what a liter, meter, gram, what they are, and just what a milliliter is and what a kilogram is. I'm talking about. Hopefully you have an idea so that you can put it in your head. Because the way you convert in the metric system is no different than the way you would convert in our system. I know we've already done that in the book where we've converted, the standard, the customary system. Do you remember how it goes like this? If they say they want you to convert 15 centimeters to how many millimeters is that? Well, here's the deal. In order for you to do this, you need to know some things. Okay, you need to know some things. And do you remember how it goes? Remember there's like a 1 down here and a 2 down here. Do you remember what I'm talking about? This is from Miss Campbell too, and I've grabbed it. You have to decide what is the relationship between centimeters and millimeters. In other words, how many are in each one, right? So how many millimeters are there in a centimeter? How many millimeters? How big is a millimeter? How big? Right? You can't even as far apart as the smallest you can do, that's about how big it is, right? On your fingers. And how big is a centimeter? The width of your fingernail. So then how many of these guys are there in the width of your fingernail? 10, right? There's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So it's going to be 10 is the relationship, right? That's going to be down here. We have to decide, are we going from, we have 15 centimeters, and we're going to millimeters, are we going from something that is big to small or small to big? What are we doing? We're going from centimeters, which is bigger, to something smaller, right? So big to small multiply, right? Arms apart, big to small, your arms crossed, makes it multiply. So how hard is this now? What's 15 times 10?
150.
We're done. Right? Nothing changes here. The awesome thing about this is that everything is going to either be, tell me what the numbers are going to be for the second part of our thing. What are the numbers going to be? Based on 10. 10, 100, 1,000. Might even be a million, right? But it's always going to be base 10. That's all it's going to be. That's why this is so easy. Is because, do you all know how, what if I have 15 and I was going to multiply that by 10? Do you know another way of multiplying anything by 10? You simply move the decimal. You say add a 0. What if it's this? What if it is 15.4? Does adding a 0 do any good? Does that change anything? No. So then what am I doing actually? When I multiply 15 times 10, what am I actually doing? I'm moving the decimal. The decimal is right there. It's invisible. And I move it over to the right one. That leaves me with 150. Does that make sense? That's how you do it. If I'm going to divide by 10, what if I have 15 divided by 10? What am I going to do? Move the decimal to the left. Right? 15 divided by 10, instead of it being 15, is 1.5. You've done this before, I know. I know you have. I know you have. Multiplying and dividing by 10 or 100 or 1,000 is so simple. What is the only thing you have to do? Move the decimal, right? You just have to move the decimal. Does that make sense? That's it. Now, if you have a whole number, 36, and I'm going to multiply that by 100, like Dylan said, you can add 2 zeros. You know why you're allowed to add 2 zeros? Is because the decimal is invisible right there, and when you move it over 2 spaces, you're actually adding 2 zeros. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So don't just say add zeros, because it depends. Question, John. You sure? Okay. Look at the chart on page 421 there. You see how it's got this weird, it says... I'll rewrite it here. It says kilometers, meters, centimeters, millimeters, and then it goes like this. It says this is 1,000, right? and then this is times 100, and then this one is from here is times 10, right? And then what about this? What about all the way from here to, not here, sorry. What about from the meters to the millimeters? What is that? 1,000, right? It's 100 times 10, you know. Anyway, that chart draws it a lot better than I do. It just lets you know the relationship. It reminds you of the relationship. When is the last time you heard of anybody talking about a decagram? When's the last time you heard somebody talk about a decagram? They don't. They just don't. They don't use them. They're there, but they don't use them. When's the last time you heard them talk about a hectoliter? Never, right? Again, you don't. So then that's why you look at that chart. What are the ones that they use the most? Kilo, and then the unit, which is either meter, gram, or liter. Centimeter, and really centi. The only time you use centi is generally with centimeter, right? I mean, they do have centiliters, not usually though. And then milli, right? So if you know kilo and milli, then you're in good shape. You really are. Then you pretty much have the metric system down. Anyway, let's take a look here. Let's go from 837 kilometers to meters. 837 kilometers to meters. How many meters is that? I know, Don. I know you know all these because you're used to this. That's fine. So then just, I know. What do I do? What do I do? If you prefer to have it look like the way I have it set up before, then you go 837 kilometers equals how many meters? If that's how you prefer to have it look, that's fine. Do you agree that that's the same thing? Okay. What do I do? How do I set this problem up? If you had to do this at home right now, what would you do? What would you do? Do the 1 and the 2 thing, right? Okay. Are we going for, then what do we do? What's the 1? Decide whether you're multiplying or dividing, right? How do you know whether you're multiplying or dividing? What do you do? Morgan, what do you do to decide if it's multiply or divide? Kilometers to meters. So is that big to small or small to big? Kilometers is big to small, so big, small, multiply. Multiply. What's the number 2? What is the number 2? What are we doing here, Jonathan? Right. What's the relationship between kilometers and meters? How many meters are there in a kilometer? 1,000. 837 times 1,000. What do I do at this point? I want to hear the right answer. What do I do at this point? I'm going to take 837, I'm going to multiply it by 1,000. What do I do, Michael? Thank you. You move the decimal. How many spaces? Why would you say 2? Why would you choose? How many, Sladen?
3.
Why 3?
Because I have
3
3 zeros.
zeros. 1, 2, 3. 3 zeros, move the decimal over 3 spaces. It's that simple. So then you go 837, and then you go 1, 2, 3. 0, 0, 0. 8, 3, 7, 0, 0, 0. Done. Make sense? What is that? Anyway, that's not good. Whatever that is. Okay. Let me try this. Okay, this is a funky one. 325 centiliters equals how many liters? Just got to remember what the relationships are, right? I want you to do this one for me. Do it. This one is not for the candy. That one's coming up. I promise. I'm going to give you a little quiz here in a minute. And, people that get like 3 out of 4 at least, you get a candy. So, do this one. Okay, here we go. First thing. 1, 2. What's the 1? The 1 is to see if you're going to multiply or divide, right? I'm going from what? What am I going from, Sladen? I'm going from centiliters, small, to liters, big. Small to big, divide, right? Small to big, divide. So this is divide. What is the relationship between centiliters and liters? What's the relationship? It's 100, right? 100. If you look at on page 422 or whatever, the same thing on page 421. I mean, look, centi and meter or centi and liter. It's 100, right? There's 100 of them. Now, when I divide by 100, whenever you multiply or divide by a 10, 100, 1,000, whatever, what's the only thing I need to do? Donna, what's the only thing I need to do? Move the decimal. That's it. Move the decimal. So I need to move the decimal to the left. Why the left? Because it's divide, right? The number, when you divide, the number is going to get smaller, right? And I'm going to divide it by 100. So I'm going to move the decimal to the left. So it's 325. Where is the decimal right now? As it just sits right here. After the 5, I'm going to move it to the left. How many spaces? 2. Why 2? There's 2 zeros. 1, 2. So the answer is 3.25. And we're done. Stop. How many of you got that? You go the wrong way? What? Oh, 3. That's fine. Just don't do that, though. I mean, this is so simple. Just leave it. You did more work than you need to. Okay. You ready for your quiz to see who's going to get the candy? Okay. Look at the bottom of page 422. A, B, and C. The very bottom of 422. There they are. Yeah, your brother would have said that because I need it. I need a little card that says, "Are you recording?" He used to do it last year. Whenever you're watching my videos from like algebra in a couple of years, you're going to hear me say like, "Yes, I am. Thank you." What do you think he's doing? It's because he's pointing to his card. Make sure I'm recording. You'll hear it. First step, decide if this is multiply or divide. Milligrams to grams is small to big. That means you divide. Divide, how many milligrams are there in a gram? 1,000. We already did this. So I have 15. What does divide mean? Move it to the left. How many spaces? Why 3? 3 zeros. So it was here. We go 1, 2, 3. What goes right here? A 0. So the answer is 0.015. Right? Okay. This next one here, we're going from liters to kiloliters. What does that mean? Liters is in the middle, and kiloliters is big. So small to big, we divide again. How many liters are there in a kiloliter? 1,000. I have 386. I'm dividing, which means I move it to the left. 3 spaces. Why 3? 3 zeros. 0.386. I have no idea, but it's not good, right? This next one, a 1 and a 2, I'll do it over here. It doesn't have to be right below it. I have 8.2 centigrams. And I'm going to grams. Centi to gram. What does that mean? Is that small to big or big to small? Small to big again, which means divide again. Divide. How many centigrams are there in a gram? How many centigrams are there in 1 gram? 100. There was 8.2, and I moved the decimal to the left. Why left? Because it's divide. How many spaces? Why 2? 2 zeros. What goes right here? 0.082 is the answer. Okay, if there's no other questions, I'll give you your homework. Your homework. What is this? This is 9.2. Okay, page 423 to 424. 6 to 23 even, and 39 to 43 even.